Alright, welcome back, Battledome baddies. Got some time to record and make some videos, so that's what we'll do. Do some quick overviews and rankings of some of the legends in the next couple days here. Also, happy global release day. Well, widespread release day in Canada and USA. I guess I shouldn't say global yet. Yeah, anyways, let's go into the video. So we got level 1 requirement legends. How good are they on turn 1, turn 4, turn 8? Most of them are focused on card drawing in one way or another. So yeah, that's the majority of the effects on these card level requirement 1 legends, which makes sense. For an early game card, you would like to draw more cards for the later game. And also on that note, you don't want to include too many level 1 requirement cards in your deck in general, whether that be equipment or legends. So let's see what we got first. Aena. This is Defenders of Neopia. And the card effect is look at the top 3 cards of your deck, return them to the top and or bottom of your deck in any order. Some notes on this card. You must have 3+ cards in your deck to play, and in other card games you call this effect a scry or an opt. So you take the 3 cards from your deck, you can look at the cards in your inventory, compare, and then once you decide what you want to do with the 3 cards that you took from the top of your deck, you put them back in any order on the top and or bottom of your deck. So this is a great way to filter for cards, such as finding codestones, or if you have enough codestones, you can just send them to the bottom to draw some better cards. And this also lets you set up in the later game, where you have a bunch of battle fairy equipment that care about having equipment on the top of your deck, for example. So we'll give her a 4 stars. Also, I guess I forgot to include that little part there. It does not draw you a card unless you have like Queen Fiora out, which will then let you... oh no, I guess not. Queen Fiora wouldn't work on this effect because you're looking at the cards, not revealing them. So this is private information from your opponent. Your opponent doesn't know what cards you're looking at, and yeah, just having this filter effect is pretty good. So we'll give it 4 out of 5 stars. Next up, we have Bank Manager. This is a Neopia Central team. Probably really doesn't matter for the most part in the first set, but there are a couple cards that care about team affiliation, so yeah, I'll just mention them anyway. Card effect. Draw cards from your deck equal to the number of equipment currently in play. So of note, if there are no equipment in play, you draw 0 cards if you play this. This does count your opponent's equipment too, and if both of you have Athea, the Battle Fairy, on the field and have 4 equipment each, this is a level requirement 1, draw 8 cards, which is pretty crazy. That probably won't happen very often though. So we'll give it a 3 star because, you know, this is a pretty decent card draw. On average, I would expect you to draw anywhere from 2 to 6 cards. Most likely 3 or 4 on average if I really had to guess, if this was a turn 4 play. Turn 1, obviously this is absolutely terrible. It will draw you 0 cards. Turn 8, it can definitely draw you 2+ cards for sure. Remains to be seen how prominent equipment are and destroying equipment. So yeah, moving on, we got Bruce Avenger from Defenders of Neopia team. Card effect. Draw 2 cards from your deck, then place 1 card from your inventory to the top or bottom of your deck. Card notes. We must have 2+ cards in your deck to play, and it doesn't have to be one of the 2 cards that you just drew that you put on the top or bottom of your deck, because you draw the cards into your inventory and then decide from your new inventory which card to put on the top or bottom of your deck. So this effect is better than Corbat Defender, ? Because Corbat Defender, as we'll see in the future here, is just straight up draw 2 cards. Overall, this card is a net 0 cards because you play the card, you draw 2, and then put 1 back on your deck in some fashion. So overall, you play the card, draw a card to replace this. So that's why we call it a net 0. I'll give it 3 stars because the filter effect is pretty good and it does replace itself, so it's not terrible to include. Next up we have Harry and Blum from Neopia Central. Card text. Reveal the top 5 cards of your deck and add any codestones revealed this way to your inventory. Return the remaining cards to the bottom of your deck in any order. So, card notes. We have must-have 5+ cards in your deck to play. You can play cards that have the when this card is revealed from your deck, you may play this card clause in their text box, as long as you meet the level requirement of the card that you're trying to play. And it is great for thinning the deck, because if you reveal 5 code stones, wow, this is a 1 mana draw 5. So that's or one level 1 requirement, draw 5, not 1 mana. There's no mana in this game. Yeah, no, it's a really great card. I can see this being a staple in every single deck until more ways to draw code stones are printed, or tutor code stones, because as of right now, the only way that you can get code stones in your hand is by drawing them. And this guy, I believe. Well, I guess there are cards that say put 3 back in your deck and tutor for 1, so yeah. As of right now, yeah, this card is fantastic. Run 2 of them all the time. Every deck, do it. Alright, moving on, we got Hubert from Neopia Central. Card text, search your card... Let's try that again. Search your deck for 1 card with hot dog in its name and add it to your inventory. Some card notes on this. You can fail to find a card even though you have a legitimate target in your deck. There are some cases where you would want to do that, but in that case I think you would probably just not play the card and just keep it in your hand, but I don't know. That's for more people that are involved with crazy rules than me. So other card notes we have, it gets better with every card that has hot dog in its name that is made. So in the future, this could be like extremely good. As of right now, probably a really good one is to get Hot Dog of Justice, or just basic Hot Dog to draw a card. Also, since you are searching your deck, you will have to shuffle your deck after you search. And it is, because you are searching for something specific, you will have to show the card to your opponent to prove it is a card that has hot dog in the name. I don't believe this is showing and not revealing for card rules, which is slightly different. So yeah, if you play this guy on turn 1, you could probably get the Hot Dog of Justice, and that's probably your best hot dog. So yeah, overall I'm gonna give him 2 stars, however, because you are searching for like very specific cards, and sometimes those will be worth it, but overall I'm not certain right now that he'll be really good at the moment. I could 100% be wrong on all of these though, so we'll see. Moving on, Castrus, our first villain. Card text, draw 2 cards from your deck, discard 1 card from your inventory. Some card notes, you must have 2 cards in your deck to play this. And again, this is a net 0 card, because you play him, draw 2, so you replace Castrus with one of the drawn cards, and then you immediately will have to discard. So yeah, better than Corbat Defender, question mark. This is very good for getting specific cards into your discard, and you can trigger effects that care about discarding. So yeah, there are definitely going to be certain decks that will want to play this card. Overall, I'm not too certain if it will be played a lot more than others, but yeah, it's really solid. 4 stars. There are lots of cards that can interact with the discard already, so with that in mind, I will give him the 4 stars for sure. Or her, I'm not sure. It's sneakiness, so 4 stars. Moving on, we have our legend, the Corbat Defender from Defenders of Neopia team. Card text, very simple, draw 2 cards from your deck. Card notes, you must have 2 cards in your deck to play, and this is a net 1 card because you are drawing 2 cards. You play this card, you replace it with one of the cards drawn, and you get an extra one. Better than Avenger / Castrus? I don't know. Overall, solid card. Draw 2, turn 1, very good. 4 stars. Never not want to play him on turn 1. Turn 4, still really good. Turn 8, still really good. So yeah, very solid card. Next up, Lightning Lenny from Defenders of Neopia team. Card text, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and add 1 to your inventory. Then return the remaining cards to the bottom of your deck in any order. So card notes, you must have 3 cards or more in your deck to play, and you can play cards that have the when this card is revealed from your deck, you may play this card clause if you meet the level requirement of the revealed card. Is this better than Avenger? Because if you recall, Avenger, let's zip past back over here. It says draw 2 cards from your deck, then place 1 card from inventory to the top or bottom of your deck. So very similar effect here. This is draw 2, put 1 on top or bottom. And this guy is reveal the top 3, add 1 to your deck, or to your inventory. So you are searching for, you get to look at 1 more card and then put it in your hand and lose the other 2 that are not the best in your situation right now. So turn 1, this will help you set up. Turn 4, you can use it to filter. Turn 8, again, you can use it to filter. So any cards that you don't want on your deck, on the top of your deck, you can put to the bottom, that sort of thing. I guess that is a note for this guy here. He specifically returns the cards to the bottom of your deck. So after you choose the one from the 3, the other ones go to the bottom of your deck, not on the top. So you can't use it to set up your Battle Fairy equipment. So maybe this guy is a little bit worse than I thought. But it's a really good effect. Looking at 3 cards is pretty good. You pick the best one. So yeah, 3 stars. Decent. Pretty decent overall. Moving on. Pant Devil's Evil Twin from Neopia Central Team. Target 1 equipment in your discard. Play it. So, in order to play this, I believe you must have 1+ equipment in your discard to play. If you have 0 cards in your equipment, I believe you cannot play this because it's the card effect requires you to target something. And you do declare the target when you are playing this card. You do not wait for the card text for the card to resolve, so it does not get Hot Dog of Justice. And then you pick what card. No. That would be too good. So as you play this card, you target the equipment that you want to get back, and then your opponent has the chance to interact with either of those. This technically can be like a 3rd or 4th copy of an equipment if your opponent discards it. And if you get to round 2 or 3, you can use it to get back an equipment that was prominent for your strategy, or just a really good equipment from the 1st round or 2nd round if you get to round 3. So yeah, overall, really good. Turn 1 obviously does nothing, but turn 4 plus can be pretty good, especially if your opponent discards. And one thing else to note for this guy, after you complete a round, all of your equipment in play does go to the discard, so this guy can immediately get you back something. And I believe, since I'm reading this now and going over this as I'm speaking, you will need to be the level requirement of the equipment that you target. So you cannot get back a Sword of Ultra Nova on turn 1. That would be way too good. It would be like a 6 out of 5 stars if that let you do that. So yeah, overall, very good card. Pretty happy to draw him in the later game. Next up, Shop Wizard from Neopia Central. Card text, a bit of a longer one on this guy. Choose one of the following: equipment, food, paintbrush, or potion. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck and add one of the chosen type of card to your inventory. Return the remaining cards to the bottom of your deck in any order. So, some card notes. You must have 5+ cards in your deck to play, and you can fail to find even if eligible card is there. And you cannot find a Codestone or Fairy with this, which is very notable. So yeah, if you do fail to find, this is basically look at the top 5 cards of your deck and then put them on the bottom. So if you know that you don't have any potions in your deck, you can say potion, or look at the top 5 cards and put them on the bottom. Is that going to be useful? Sometimes, but probably you will want to actually use this effect. It's a really good way to find a paintbrush, or dig to find a paintbrush, which is a very good card to get on any turn. This is a level 1 card, so level 1, you do, well, level 1, he's still pretty good, because you can get a food, I suppose, on level 1. Equipment is really good. Paintbrush is also really good. Yeah, just overall pretty good card. And the other thing that I forgot to mention is you show the card to your opponent, and this is not considered a reveal. So yeah, we'll give him 3 stars. Pretty good effect overall. Can't find a Codestone or a Fairy, which is probably why he's not a 4 or 5 star. Like, if you could find a Codestone or a Fairy with this guy, he would definitely be 5 out of 5. Because you'll have a pretty good chance of hitting a Codestone if you name Codestone every single time you play him. But most of the time you will get a card of the type that you name, especially if you go with equipment. Yeah, pretty good. Moving on, Tax Beast, a villain from Neopia. Card text says, your opponent discards one card from their inventory. Draw one card from your deck. So in order to play this card, you must have 1+ cards in your deck to play, and the discard is of their choice. That can be a hard decision, or it can get rid of the last card in their hand. On turn 1, this is pretty decent. Turn 4, it's still pretty good. Turn 8, it's still pretty good, because it does replace itself. It gives you +1 card advantage against your opponent from the discard. So on that note, card advantage. The way that we describe this is how many cards have you drawn versus your opponent, and what is like the relative like strength of those cards, I guess. That is one aspect of card advantage, but card advantage, you can strictly say how many more cards have I drawn, or less cards have I drawn. If you've drawn less cards, then you have a card disadvantage to your opponent. And in card games, drawing cards is usually very good. Discarding cards is usually pretty bad. So with that in mind, I'll give him 4 stars. And just kidding. He's actually going to be a 1 star, because your discard for the opponent can actually help them more than hurt them. There is a lot of discard effects cards that interact with the discard in Defenders of Neopia, and this is especially why the discard effects are probably not that good, considering that your opponent gets to choose which card they discard. So if they know that they have a card that, or multiple cards that can like interact with the discard, so like for example, Siona, she gets back 2 legends from the discard when you play her. So they can discard a legend in the early game, and it's no big deal because they could just replay it later. So yeah, for that reason, 1 star. Moving on, the Breadmaster from Neopia Central. Card text, shuffle 3 cards from your inventory into your deck. Search your deck for 1 card and play it or add it to your inventory. So some card notes. You must have 3 or more cards in your inventory to play. You do not have to show the card to your opponent, because nothing is specified for the card that you get. You just get a card. As long as you get a card, it is fine. You can fail to find on that note. So if there are any cards that like care about how many cards are in your deck, or if like you cannot draw a card, blah blah blah. For example, if you cannot draw a card from your deck, your Neopet will take 1 damage. You have no cards in your deck. So if you play the Breadmaster, you can put 3 cards back into your deck and avoid 3 points of damage if the game lasts that long. That's probably a very niche case right now, but that might be more important in the future. You need to have a Neopet level 2+ in order to play level requirement 2+ cards from this guy. So yeah, you need to have the additional level in order to play the card immediately, but you can just add it to your inventory if you find a card with like level 5 or level requirement 5. Also worth noting, if this can let you find a Codestone or a Fairy. However, if you find a Codestone, you cannot play it from this effect, because Codestones are specifically attached, so that Codestone will go into your inventory. After you search your deck, also known as tutoring, you will have to shuffle your deck. Did I say after you shuffle your deck you have to shuffle? Or I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Anyways, yeah, turn 4 cards into 1 with a magic rolling pin. Very interesting card. Overall, this would be a -2 to card advantage, because you play this guy, shuffle 3 cards, so that's 4 cards in order to get 1. So that would be a -3 for card advantage, actually. With that in mind, it's probably not super great, but like being able to get a specific card in any circumstance, as long as you have 3 other cards in your hand, in your inventory, is pretty good. But as of right now, I'm going to give him 2 stars. Not quite sold on having him in a deck, but I don't know, we'll see. Moving on, the Pant Devil, a villain of Neopia. Card effect. Target one of your opponent's equipment, send it to their discard. So, some card notes. Your opponent must have 1+ equipment in play in order to play this card. This is not considered a discard effect, even though it says send it to their discard. This just means move the card from the Battledome to the discard. This does not trigger Ghost Painted Pets, for example, Ghost Loop Sword, which cares about cards being discarded. This does not affect that at all. And as you play the Pant Devil, you must declare the target when you are playing the Pant Devil. You cannot play the Pant Devil and then select your target after it is not a Hot Dog of Justice. So, how are we going to rate this guy? On turn 1, he's not good because your opponent most likely does not have an equipment, but that might be a niche case. And anyway, if they do play a level 1 equipment, most of the time they will replace it on a future turn. But this is a level 1 requirement card that can get rid of a level 5 requirement card for a temporary time at least. With that in mind, he is very good. If your opponent has any equipment, it is at risk from this guy of just being ignored. So yeah, I'll give him 5 stars. And our final ranking. So 5 out of 5 stars, we have Harry and Blum. Lets you get Code Stones. Very solid card. Pretty sure it's going to be a staple in every single deck. You want to run 2 of each. 2 of copies of Harry and Blum in your decks. The Pant Devil, very good for disruption. And the 4 out of 5 stars, we have Aena, Castrus, Corbat Defender, Pant Devil's Evil Twin. So Aena is very good for the scry and opting effects, Castrus and Corbat Defender for the drawing effects. You would probably want to run Castrus if you care about any cards that interact with your discard, or if you care about discarding a card. So if you run the Ghost Loop Sword, you would probably want to run Castrus over Corbat Defender. Pant Devil's Evil Twin, really good for getting your equipment back. And the 3 out of 5 stars, we have Bank Manager, Bruce Avenger, Lightning Lenny, Shop Wizard. Again, cards that let you draw cards and or search and or deck thin, that sort of thing. 2 out of 5 stars, we have Hubert and the Breadmaster. Star for Hubert because he could definitely easily go up to 5 out of 5 stars in the future. So he gets better the more hot dog cards there are, cards that have hot dog in the name. And the Breadmaster, I feel like I'm probably wrong about this guy. He's probably better than I am making him out to be, but giving him a 2 stars for now. And Tax Beast is the lowest rank one here because there are no 0 out of 5. Every card is playable in some fashion or another, but Tax Beast, in my opinion, is the worst level 1 requirement legend. When you first play him, you're going to be like, oh yeah, this is a really good card, but I don't think so, especially with the card pool that we have right now. He might get better in the future when people aren't essentially on discard or fairies, so yeah. Anyways, yeah, some of the draw, but cards effects are better in certain strategies. So for example, Castrus, Bruce Avenger, that sort of thing. You would probably prefer them over Corbat Defender in those types of decks, and you would probably almost immediately always want to put 2 of those cards in your deck at that point, so they would immediately go up to 5 out of 5 in those ones. But yeah, those are my rankings for level 1 requirement legends. Let me know what you think, and let's get level 2 knocked out. Thanks for watching.